Can you use a Windows VM for hacking? Let's take a look at it. Hello world, I'm Zenit, an independent security researcher and ethical hacker, and today we're setting up a Windows VM for hacking. Now, why would anyone want a Windows VM for hacking? Well, one of the reasons is that most corporate networks are already using Windows clients, Windows servers, and Windows Active Directories. So having a Windows VM access that network may seem less suspicious because it's just another Windows client. Doesn't seem unusual in a Windows network. Whereas with Kali, you would be more suspicious because it's a Linux client in a Windows client network. And it's also easier to access built-in stuff like PowerShell scripting, Active Directory stuff, and file shares. So that's already all out of the box into Windows, and that's much easier to access. And another huge reason maybe for many of you is that maybe you are not as experienced with Linux as you may want to be. And having a Windows VM will get you the foot into the door of cybersecurity. So let's take a look at how to set up a Windows VM for hacking. The first thing you need for this setup is a hypervisor like VMware or VirtualBox. It doesn't matter which one you take. The important one is that you have one. Now I'm gonna show you how to do this with VMware. So if you don't have, you can install the VMware Workstation 16 player for completely free on Windows and Linux. I don't know about Mac, but I guess they also have that. Now, if you're on Windows, you can easily go to the VMware website and look for the VMware Workstation player and download it for free and install it via the client. If you're using Linux, I'm expecting you to know how to install software by now, so I'm just gonna skip over this step. And for Mac users, I don't know how. There's probably a damage file or however those things are called. I don't know. The next thing you need is an ISO file of Windows. You can download it from the official Microsoft website. They give it out for free, and then start right away with the installation. Windows is a bit tricky to install in VM Player, so I will show you how to do it. First, you want to select I will install the operating system later. Go on to next, select Microsoft Windows, and let's call it a Windows Hacker VM. Select the location where you want to put this in. For this hacking machine, we'll need around 60 gigs of memory. I never bother with this too, so let's just continue the next. And then let's customize the hardware. We want to have at least 2 gigs of memory. Now I have a PC with a lot of memory, so I can change that up to be a little bit more. Let's give it around 8 gigs, so it's a bit more powerful, and then we should be ready to go. Now once the VM is created, you will have it over here in the menu, and you can start it by double clicking. Then you want to add some removable devices, and I'll select connect to disk image file. Go to the downloaded ISO, select it, and then you need to restart with power reset guest. And yes, press any key, so I'll press any key, and we will be greeted with the default Windows installation. I think most of you already have done this step, so I'm just gonna do this real quick and come back to you after I'm done with it. Once the installation is done, it will ask you to sign in with Microsoft. We can select domain join instead and select a new username. I'm gonna call this one Zenit. Once your updates are done and your virtual machine has been restarted, you can just log in with the username and password that you set just before and wait again for it to finish some update. Now if you're using VirtualBox instead of VM Player, you can go on and create snapshots. We don't have that, but that doesn't matter for now. So far we have achieved nothing. We've just installed the Windows VM. Now it's time to make it our hacking Windows VM. Luckily, we don't have to install all the tools manually. There is something called Commando VM. Now, this Commando VM comes with a lot of tools pre-installed, namely Nmap, Wireshark, Covenant, Python, Go, Remote Server Administration Tools, sysinternals, Mimikatz, Burpsuite, blah blah blah. I think it also comes with like Metasploit and all that stuff. So to do an installation of this one, we have to go to their Git repository. You can find all the links down in the description, of course, and download it. Go to code, click on it, and click on download zip. If you have already for some reason installed Git on this machine, you can obviously use Git to do that. I haven't installed Git since I just set it up, and it's Windows, so it doesn't have Git built in. and I've downloaded this zip. We can open this file and decompress it onto, let's say, our desktop, so we have it easy accessible. We will delete this afterwards so it's not around anymore. Once we have decompressed it on our desktop, we can double click into it. Once we've created this, we can click on the Windows key and search for PowerShell. Once we have PowerShell, we right click on it and click Run as Administrator. Now we've opened PowerShell as an admin. We want to go into this directory. To do that, we just select all this one with Ctrl C, click CD and paste it with Ctrl V. Boom, we're in there. If we ls, we see all the same files. That's exactly what we want. Now, to allow us to run PowerShell scripts and everything, we have to change the execution policy. We do that with set execution policy unrestricted. We click enter and then we type in Y and enter again, and it will allow us to run scripts. Now keep in mind that this is an unsecure setting, but we're not trying to be secure here, we're trying to be the hacker here, so let's go with it. Next, we can clear this all up with clear, list everything that's in here. Here is an install PS1, so let's just run the install PS1. Now it will ask you if you've enabled Windows Defender tamper protection. I don't think we have that. Let's search for Windows security. And then we go to virus and threat protection, and in here we have another virus and threat protection settings. We go to manage settings, and in here we should have the tamper protection. Let's turn this off. All right, we want this. Your device may be vulnerable. We don't want to be perfectly secure. We want to be the hacker as said. Okay, now here we can go and type in N, and now it will check if everything is up to date and do the installation if we have enough disk space and everything. Now everything looks good as we see here, and we can, do you need to take a snapshot before continuing? Now you can again pause the machine, copy paste the entire folder, or if you're using VirtualBox you can just create a snapshot. We are not gonna do that now, so we're gonna type in N. We don't need to do that. And now it asks for the password. Type in your password, click enter, and now it's gonna install everything. Now it has given us a minute of time to read all the install notes. There are not that much. I don't really care about it, so let's just wait for this minute, and the installation is gonna take a couple of hours. Now during this process it will install a lot of tools like Choco, which is the package manager for Windows, not the official one of course. It will install all the hacking tools that we're gonna need, and it will reboot several times, so just let it run in the background, and once it's finished it will open a prompt and you'll have to confirm that you want to have it done, and we will see us after it's finished with the installation. Now after the installation is done, it asks you to press enter to exit, so let's just press enter to exit, and we should be ready and set to go. Now what did we install? That's the main question. What took us so long? So first of all, we have Sublime Text Editor, we have Visual Studio Code, we have Firefox and Google Chrome, and I'm willing to bet that we also have Burp Suite, which is always nice. We have some database browser. We have Fiddler, which is kind of an interception proxy similar to Burp Suite. Yeah, we have Nmap installed. Okay, so we have Burp, we have Nmap. Do we have MSF console is the most important question. MSF console. It doesn't look like Metasploit is installed, so we would have to do that. .NET. For .NET we have .NET Spy, which is a pretty cool tool. You can pass it a Windows executable, and if it has been written with .NET it will convert it back to the code. So reverse engineering tools. I don't know why Metasploit wasn't pre-installed, but all in all, it has a good tool set that you can use alongside your Kali installation, and it can be used for Windows specific tasks, so I'll give it a go, but for my preference I think Linux is still the better option. This is just an alternative that I wanted to show you. Now what's left to do is installing Empire, installing Metasploit, and adding a couple of more tools that suit your style of hacking. Now if you're enjoying my content and want to support it, Patreon is the way to go. You can select the membership level and pay what you want, and get some goodies like stickers, exclusive mugs, and other exclusive stuff and other cool goodies. So make sure to check it out. The link is in the description and it will hover somewhere around here. See you next time. Bye bye.